Hello everyone, welcome to my class. I'm here with the next poem from Honeydew, the textbook in English for Standard 8. Today I will explain the poem 2, titled Geography Lesson, written by Zulfikar Ghosh. Dear children, while on the earth, we cannot even imagine what our city would look like from different heights above the ground. But this can be definitely guaranteed that it will be something totally different from what it actually is. This poem gives an account of the poet's view of his city and the earth from different altitudes. The three stanzas of the poem comprise of the three different altitudes and perceptions of the poet. And what is the poet able to see and understand from the window of his aircraft? To know this, we must read the poem. First of all, about the poet. Zulfikar Ghosh is a Pakistani American novelist, poet, and essayist. He was born on March 13, 1986 in Sialkot, British India. After the partition of British India into Pakistan and India, Ghosh immigrated to England. Later, he moved to the USA in 1969 to teach at the University of Texas, where he has lived since. He has written many poems, fictional and non-fictional work, short stories, novels, and 5 books of literary criticism. Here is the theme of the poem. This is a short poem with a very extensive meaning that brings out an irony inherent in human nature and tendencies. The irony is in the fact that we, the human beings, have definitely acquired a lot of knowledge about the blue planet Mother Earth, its shape, motions, and various other features too. But we have very drastically failed to learn the importance of values like love, peace, and harmony, and our own very complex psychology. The futility of human tendencies of creating borders, boundaries, and fences which separate one human being from another. We are still able to find causes to hate and kill each other. Now the poem. When the jet sprang into the sky, it was clear why the city had developed the way it had, seeing it scaled 6 inches to the mile. There seemed an inevitability about what on ground had looked haphazard, unplanned, and without style when the jet sprang into the sky. Explanation of stanza 1. The poem provides a description of how the earth looks from different altitudes. Each stanza represents a different level of height from where the poet looks below on the earth from the window of the aircraft by which he was traveling. When the jet takes off and starts to climb up in the sky, the poet can take a full view of the city, and he is able to appreciate that the city emerged just the way as it was necessary for the people. Hence, whatever looked unplanned and unsystematic on the ground seemed unavoidable and essential from the sky. Stanza 2. When the jet reached 10,000 feet, it was clear why the country had cities where the rivers ran and why the valleys were populated. The logic of geography, that land and water attracted man, was clearly delineated when the jet reached 10,000 feet. Explanation of stanza 2. Second stanza delineates means shows, explains the poet's experience when the aircraft rises higher up at 10,000 feet. Now the poet is able to realize means and understand the logic of geography. He can see why the cities in the country have grown along the rivers. The valleys are populated for the same reason, as it is land and water together that attract the people, since they fulfill numerous requirements of the people, for instance, drinking, agriculture, transport, trade, and many more, and also encourage different occupations. Stanza 3. When the jet rose 6 miles high, it was clear the earth was round and that it had more sea than land. But it was difficult to understand that the men on the earth found causes to hate each other, to build walls across cities, and to kill. From that height, it was not clear why. Explanation. Third stanza comes up with the poet's view when the jet reaches at the height of 6 miles from the land. The poet recognizes that the earth is round and it has more sea than land on its surface, although it is still difficult to understand why people hate and kill the other fellow beings. This question remains unanswered. The human tendency of building walls across the cities and countries continues to be a mystery. Thus, it is quite simple to understand the logic of geography from a certain height. However, it is still tough to comprehend. Comprehend means to understand human psychology as to how people find reasons to hate one another, and construct means to build walls to define borders and boundaries and create fences. The poet could only reflect that human beings, ironically the best of dear Lord's creations, are egocentric. Egocentric means self-centered, one who thinks about himself or herself only. Selfish and narrow-minded, since they despise each other. Despise means to hate. From a certain height, he found that the earth is one as a whole. But the people living on this wonderful planet are segregated. Segregated means divided for shallow and superficial reasons, useless reasons, which are beyond all intelligence. Next comes the exercise. New words. Spring means to rise. Inevitable is unavoidable, means something that cannot be avoided. Haphazard means unplanned, unsystematic, unorganized. Delineated means shown, explained. Cause means reason. B part of the exercise is questions and answers. A. What was the poet able to understand when the aircraft took off? Answer. When the aircraft took off and reached a certain height, the poet was able to understand that the cities have emerged. Emerged means developed. Without any specific plan, but as per the necessity of the people. B. What logic of geography the poet was able to understand when the plane rose up at 10,000 feet? Answer. The poet could understand that the cities have emerged along the rivers and on the valleys, as land and water have always attracted human beings. C. What was the poet able to recognize when the jet rose up at the height of 6 miles? Answer. From the height of 6 miles, the poet could recognize that the earth is round and there is more sea than land on its surface. D. Mention the things that still remain a mystery, even from the height of 6 miles above the ground. Answer. The poet was not able to understand why people on the earth hate and kill one another. The complex human psychology and the tendency to build borders and boundaries remains a mystery for the poet and the readers as well. Part C. Provide the synonyms for the following. Synonyms means the words having the same meaning. Spring means to leap. The synonym is leap, rise. Haphazard, unsystematic, unplanned. Develop, advance. Grow. Reach, arrive. Attract, tempt. Difficult, tough. Understand, comprehend. Dear children, we are indebted to Mother Earth for our existence and survival. Hence, this is our duty to do our bit in order to maintain love, peace, and harmony on the planet. Every thought that we put into the world affects it. Therefore, think love, think peace, think harmony. And if each one of us think likewise, the world would be a better place to live in. That's all for today. Thank you, dear children. Take care.